absolutely no idea that I was actually writing this riff at first when it came out. It came out of a 20-minute session where I just put up a mic in the room. Whatever comes out without any plan, without any kind of direction or aim to write anything. After 20 minutes, I just stop the recording, turn off the computer, and continue with my day. So the session starts like this. I'm just putting my hands around, not really aiming for anything special. Basically, something. And I'm just trying things, and all of a sudden some kind of a dissonant thing just came in the picture out of nowhere, but and I'm just ditching it. I have no idea what I'm doing at that moment. Yeah, just trying out random stuff. I feel that the idea has something and I maybe should try. Just experimenting with it. And in the end, I just give up on it and just move on to the next idea. I think here I'm pretty much aware that these 20 minutes are about to end. That's it. So that at first was the inception of the idea. At that moment, I felt that something is worth exploring. Then I closed the session and came back to it after maybe like 2 or 3 months. I was listening for things and I wasn't aware that I even recorded this because I was just in a process of recording 20 minutes, then forgetting about it, then coming back later, and all of a sudden I just heard it and I said, okay, there's something to it, maybe I can do something with it. And only 2 years later I actually sat down in the studio trying to make a song out of it. All these sessions I did with a beat-up nylon-string guitar that I got when I was in high school. And that guitar actually helped me learning harmony and all kinds of things, but I wasn't treating it well. I took it with me to gatherings outside on the beach and playing with friends around the campfire and all this kind of stuff. So with the years, it became so beat up that the tension of the strings made the neck have a crazy bow. It became so hard to play it. And when I wanted to do these writing sessions or like jamming or noodling sessions, whatever you call it, what I did is just reducing the string tension by actually tuning it down to B or C. With time, I just realized that it kind of inspired me to go to these darker, kind of dissonant places. And also I found out that it really fit my vocal range in some way. So out of necessity, out of trying to make an instrument work for me, I just found out the sound of this whole record. 2 years after, when I actually wanted to start producing the things, I sat at my studio, I put up a mic and wanted to make a guide guitar. I recorded that with the same instrument that I actually made the early sessions. So at first that was meant to only be kind of a guide for an electric guitar that will just play the riff like loud and proud and distorted and rocky in some kind of way. And as I progressed with the production, I just figured out that there's something in that kind of nylon string that gave that whole vibe to the riff. Then I kind of started building around it, and I felt that even though that this is the main sound of the riff, it still was too clean, you know? So I thought about adding some grit around it. Then I recorded a song by Soundgarden I really, really love. It's called Head Down, where they blend the distorted guitar with clean acoustics. I remember that I always was fascinated by that blend of clean and distorted, and it's kind of inspired me. And then when I thought about making it dirty, it suddenly just made sense that this is what I need to do. But the thing is that at that time I didn't have an electric guitar, not baritone and not electric. So all I had was my trusty bass guitar. What I did was, first of all, record the riff, and also I needed it to still sound as open as it was with the nylon string. But with the bass it wasn't really possible, because when you play the bass on a lower register and the sustain is all over and it gets to a blur, so I had to record it in different voices. This was that's two voices actually. One voice is, if we listen together with the classical, all right, so one voice is doing this and the second one is doing this. With the classical. So it was separate voices, and then so it kind of doubled. The nylon string is on the right and the bass imitation guitar was on the left, kind of doubling it. But then where's that? We had this one also. All right, so then I had to double the other part as well with two voices, but somehow, for a reason I don't really remember, I only could play it in the lower register. And in the beginning, it sounded like this. All right, like again, two voices. One voice is. All right, with. And then this one. All right, then the two voices together. But you see like that it's so muddy, so I end up raising it up an octave, so it's in the same register as the. All right, and if you listen to it in solo, because it's raised an octave in a digital way, so it kind of sounds almost like computerized. But if you blend it together with all the guitars, it still doesn't sound right. Let's solo these guitars again. But then if we add an amp player, it suddenly sounds like this. All right, let's solo that bass only. So from a computerized kind of thing, it became like this. Okay, and then together the two bass guitars. So that's the imitation, like it's played with the bass, as you already know. It goes under the layer of the nylon guitars. So if we solo just the nylon guitars, it sounds like this. So you see like the layer of the distorted bass octave imitation guitar, it kind of added grit and depth that the nylon guitars themselves couldn't bring. So something that kind of started, idea that came out of thin air, came out of nowhere. It took time to build it, but then it became the backbone of the song, and I can say maybe the backbone of the whole project, the sound that makes the record what it is. So this is how it sounds in the mix.